want you guys to visualize me as a comedian right now, and you guys are the audience. But in reality, I'm an 18-year-old uni sophomore who's struggling to go to sleep right now because he couldn't climb a strange assortment of stonish things on a wall that's orange level 2 days in a row. And now he's in this messy room eating yogurt, peanut butter, and blueberries because he's too lazy to cook any. Yo, what the fuck, guys? Yo, exposing yourself. What's going on? Whatever. You guys know those videos when you were kids and it was like some crazy story and there was that guy in the background playing like a CSGO game with his knife and he's doing those crazy CSGO runs? Like imagine that, but instead of those crazy stories, the crazy story is just my day, like a regular day in my life and what I find fucking stupid or funny or whatever. And then the background is just me struggling to climb strange assortments of stones. Things. I don't know if they're stones, whatever. But today I started my day at 5 a.m. because I thought to myself that if I want to manage all my courses and do this whole YouTube thing, which involves a lot of things actually, which I didn't even know about, like writing the thing, saying the thing, editing the thing, getting better at the thing, color grading, sound design, all this shit. It's like, god damn, what do I really do from 11 to 1 a.m.? And you know, Jackie Chan only sleeps 6 hours a night from when he was like 7 to 17 and his parents dropped him off at a boarding school to live for 10 years and basically left him there to train all day. And then, you know, there's a guy named Casey Neistat and his philosophy is that every hour you spend training in the gym or just exercising is like 1 hour deducted from the sleep needed, which doesn't make much sense, but for some reason I felt like that would make sense. So what I would do for the last 2 days is I just woke up at 5 a.m. for no reason and then got to this work thing and yeah, but I realized this work thing that I'm trying to do, which is learn how to edit DaVinci, is much harder than I thought and I'm just not as good as I thought. So then I went to my economics course class for my first class of the day and my professor was this Polish dude who was pretty cool. And so after telling us about how accountants are going to be useless in the next couple years because of AI, he talks about right when ChatGPT came out, the first thing he did was tell it to write a love letter to his wife. And I was like, hey, I like this guy kind of, like he's kind of smart. Turns out I checked right my professor and this guy has like the worst reviews known to mankind. In the course outline for Economics 250, he says, a bit of pep talk here. This may be the most important course you will take. Here's why. To get to Laureate BBA program, you must be really smart or hardworking or most likely both. At Laureate, you will get excellent training in your chosen fields of business. Say, you want to become an accountant, a very bad idea at the time of AI, or a human resource specialist, a much better idea. When you graduate, you will go to work among people just like you, bright, hardworking, and hungry for a quick promotion. So it will be hard to show off your accounting skills, but consider the following scenario. This guy hates accounting. You meet your boss by the water cooler, and she asks about an economic event that just happened. Example, inflation fell in the last quarter, but employment is very low. What should the Bank of Canada do? If you do not know the answer, hopefully it will be forgotten. But if you provide a good answer, your boss may remember you, and next time there's a challenging accounting or human resource assignment, she may give it to you, providing you with the opportunity to show your skills. This guy has to be the biggest troll I've ever seen in my life. So you're telling me I go to a business school, not to learn how to start a business or to make a business, but this is the most important course I'll ever take because when I am working for someone else's business, I can suck them off by telling them an important opinion about some sort of economic event that I have no say in or can't do anything about. So they can give me more of their work for me to prove myself to them. There's no way this guy sat down and wrote this thing and really thought this was the most important course I was gonna take in my business career. Like, is this guy smoking crack? This really pissed me off so much. I can't even talk about it. Usually I'd look at myself and say, I articulate myself quite well and I'm quite well spoken for. But I can't say the same for my next class, where I had organizational behavior. And the professor of this class is a really interesting individual. He's someone who started a video game company and retired at 30 selling it to the Japanese. It had around 400 people working for it, and it was actually the baseball game that EA Sports runs. He talked about how after retiring, he got his PhD and he was interested in researching and studying how to study better, how to teach better, inquire how to organize behavior in a business environment. And using this knowledge, he was going to bestow it upon us. This is one of those first classes, first uni courses, where I was actually really excited to see what I was going to learn from this class. I wanted to make a good impression, or I just wanted to learn. What ended up happening was that the class had icebreakers. And so the icebreaker was to find something in common with the people sitting around you and then switch, and so on, yada yada. And me and this girl behind me, we both liked to walk, and we both liked the color green. When the teacher was asking for people to raise their hands and share their comment, no one would raise their hands, and I'm not the type of person to keep a good teacher hanging. So I raised my hand and I said, me and this person behind me like the color green and like to walk. And then he said, do you know what the person's behind you name is? And I said very confidently, Ashley. And then he looked up in a very robotic monotone voice and asked the girl and said, well, what is your name? And she said, Anley. And like kind of giggling, and the whole class just starts dying of laughter. And I'm just thinking to myself, yo, not again. Because growing up, I was a sort of a class clown. Not the class clown that does stupid things to get the class to laugh, but the class clown that kind of just says things to interact with the class in a funny way to make people laugh, or just talking to random people and during class to make them laugh. Because I don't know, growing up, I always thought that funny is cool. If you can make someone laugh, it's awesome. It's like, wow, that's a cool skill. This class that I was actually interested in, because I feel like organizational behavior is really cool. It's like, how do you manage a business? How do you manage like a group of people? Through thousands of years, the most important thing to our human evolution is that we operate in these big groups, and that's why I think organizational behavior is so important. And so it's something that feels so important about. We were talking about what makes a job good or bad. What I said is that I thought principles are really important. For example, if you have McDonald's and you get a Big Mac at one location and it tastes this way, and you get a McDonald's and you get a Big Mac at another location, it tastes another way, you're like, fuck McDonald's. Like, the reason why it's good is because it's standardized. And I said, if you have principles for running an organization or a company, that means that everywhere is run a certain way, the same way. And so you can know what to expect, and you can kind of like program the behaviors of people to have the outcome that you want. Like, for example, how many different types of personalities is there? So something interesting I was reading about in a book is this guy named Ray Dalio, and the book's name is Principles, and he talks about this. He talks about how he literally had personality tests for the people at his company, and he found out that there was only a certain amount of personalities, and he took that amount and calculated which ones work better with other ones, what's expected outcomes of this one or that one, how to motivate this one or that one. And so he derived all these principles of how to organize and manage people correctly, depending on their personality, depending on the situation. And everyone had to live by those principles in the company. So there was like a quality control of like organization. And for example, when I would explain this, you would say that one business head was like a manager would be managing just like some random people, and they messed up. Like, let's just say someone messes up. The manager would then go and say, oh, you did a terrible job, ridicule them across the workspace and be like, oh, this guy's shit, like whatever. And then the other one is like, oh, it's more of like positive reinforcement. It's like, oh, you messed up this time, like, oh, you can learn from your mistake, and da-da-da and da-da-da. It's like, how do you manage that? Like, you gotta have some principles. Being negative obviously is something that just shouldn't be in the workspace, because it doesn't add anything. So that's why, principles are really important. But I just explained it in a very base way. But you might see how long it just took me to explain my idea. And so when I said this in class, it came across like this idea here, this idea, da. And so I just felt like a fool. And then the professor, instead of saying, cutting me off, he actually tried hearing me out. And then after, he just said, that's a lot to unpack there. And then he kind of summarized it, but didn't really get my point. But it's whatever, it's my fault because I didn't say it properly. But I was thinking, wow, I got a lot of work to do in the speaking department, even though I say that's a strength of mine. But I guess it's not, it could get better. So that was really interesting to see how I kind of failed in two aspects. Today I forgot that girl's name, and I didn't express myself clearly to the class. And my excuse for these failures is that I slept 4 hours because my roommates wouldn't be quiet. They were outside my door talking about finance the whole night, and I just couldn't sleep. But that's not even an excuse. Even then, I should have still, that's not an excuse for doing bad in something. It's probably just because I'm just not that good at it. So that's my conclusion on that story. But then after, which is the footage you guys are seeing now, And even though I was only there from like 9:20 to 10, it was such an amazing 40 minutes. I was in a flow state because I was solving problems, I was being physically active. It just felt so right. Like, it just felt good. I was like, damn, I can like conquer the world, you know, because I climbed these strange walls. Whether it be my finance professor talking about how Justin Trudeau, like, who does he think he is? And the whole class laughs. Or he talks about how when he broke up with his girlfriend, like, she left the house or something. Like, what the hell is wrong with him? And his excuse was that it was for safety reasons. Who does this guy think he is? No one's gonna, he lives in fucking Ottawa. What are they gonna do to him in Ottawa? Like, it's just all these little funny jokes that professors mix into their classes, and it really just, it sticks with a common trend I found amongst good teachers, is that they all mix in comedy with their teaching. And it's because not only does laughter get you engaged with the life, like when someone says something funny, it just brightens up your day in the moment more after, for some reason. When a teacher does that, it adds to their self. It gives them a sense of self. When someone makes you laugh, it does something to you. This person is a human being. He's funny. There's something about funniness. I don't know. It's like you have to not take yourself very seriously to be funny, I think. I think that's like a very good skill to have, not taking yourself seriously and actually just being able to put out your jokes and not take everything so seriously all the time. I feel like that's like a rare thing. Like 3 minutes left. I don't think I'm gonna get it, guys. We're sad. But your boy is doing his best when he's gonna get good. Yo, what's up, guys? I just want to thank you guys for watching my first video on YouTube. I always wanted to make YouTube videos since I was a kid, but I never did it because of, I guess, fear of other people's view of me, like my grandparents or my parents, or just general, like, cultural expectations of a young man, I guess. Doesn't really involve making YouTube videos, but I wanted to do it. It's been an itch in the back of my head. I've done it, and I want to make more, and I want to improve my skills along the way. So even though this video may have not been the best, guys, you know, not the best storytelling, not the best story showing, not the best shots, not the best framing, not the best voiceover, not the best, like, just in general, like, it could be way better. But I just did it, and I'm just happy that I just did whatever I did, because it took a long time. It took a lot of mental gymnastics just to do that little bit. So right now, I just woke up. It's Friday. I woke up early to finish the edit before my run, and it's done. And then, yeah, now I'm gonna go on a run. But peace out, guys.